Hi there, welcome to my channel. I am Amira of thelittlemushroomcap.com, where I share all the quilting and needlework projects that I have been working on, and today is going to be my first floss tube. I have decided to actually start a floss tube because I've been enjoying a lot of floss tubers and I've been into cross stitching lately. So I thought, why not I record this first floss tube with something to share with you. It's not going to be a lot just yet, but I am just into cross stitching. It's been a year that I've just come back to cross stitching, and I thought that it would be great to kind of start sharing with you guys and kind of motivate me to actually work on some of these projects. So these are slow stitching for me, as I like to do a lot more quilting on my machine, but I really love cross stitching lately, so I thought I'll start with my first floss tube. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. I do have a lot of quilting tutorials on the blog and in this YouTube channel, but now that I'm into cross stitching, I hope to continue with floss tube on here. So if you're interested to follow along my cross stitching journey, I would love to have you in this channel as a subscriber. So I would start with a finish because this is my first finish after I came back to cross stitching, and I haven't been cross stitching for a while. I think my last one was probably in 2011, and I was a monogamous cross stitcher before, and that is why I stopped cross stitching, because I thought we had to work on one thing at a time. Since now I've seen all the floss tubers are working on a lot of work in progress, I have fallen in love again with cross stitching, and I've seen all the floss tubes that inspires me to continue on, to start again cross stitching and to work on the new stuff that I've just been learning about, the new kind of projects, and also the new type of fabrics and all the flosses. So I'm going to show you a first finish, and I'm going to kind of tell you a bit of story behind that, and that kind of like will tell you a little bit more stories on why I start cross stitching again. So that is a pattern by Fat Quarter Shop, or It's So Emma. So this is the Home Sweet Home. So this is the pattern. So I bought this in July last year, and this is among the first pattern that I worked on. It's not the first one that I started on. I do have a work in progress that I started on, and I will share with you later on, but this is actually one of the first ones, so among some of the earliest ones that I started when I come back to cross stitching. So it's been a year, but I've got it done. So I am a slow stitcher, not because I'm slow at stitching, just because I don't spend too much time cross stitching, but I do now, and I've recently finished this. I'm so excited to share with you. Now this is important because I think one of the floss tube that inspires me to come back to cross stitching is actually Fat Quarter Shop. So I have been a customer to them for a long time for their quilting stuff. So when they do floss tube, I started following them, and I love what Kimberly's working on and all the things that Fat Quarter Shop kind of shares. So this is one of the reasons why I come back to cross stitching, and I'm so glad it's the first finish. So I have this to show you. So this is my first finish. So I absolutely love it. I love working on this roof. It has like that hatches on top of it. It's beautiful. So I love working on this project. I stopped a while because I did some mistake here and there. Of course, when you come back to cross stitching, there are things that you kind of like get used to, and I can't put it away. And I'm glad I went through and puffed through at the end of this. I think I worked on this a lot this month, this past month, so in August. So now it's actually September. So I worked a lot on this to finish it off in August, and I'm glad it's finished. So I am going to try and make my first fold finish. I'm going to look at some of the tutorials that I see online and in some of the floss tubes to make this a finish. So that's another thing why I come back to cross stitching, is because I realized that you don't actually have to finish it into a frame, so you can actually finish it into other stuff, which I've been loving watching. So the pattern the pattern finishes in this kind of board and they put some flowers, so I bought a couple of flowers to try and do that too. But I'm probably not doing like, I'm probably going to do equal frames behind it. Let me see, I don't know, so I haven't decided fully. So my pattern is kind of worn out because I actually put it into a small project bag and I folded it, which I learned not to do so next time because it splits in half and it's a well-worn pattern. So that was fun. I absolutely enjoyed that. I'm going to put a link to the pattern down below and all the things that I've used for it. I am using a lighter color 14 count. I'm stitching 2/1 square using the code for DMCs. So next I'm going to be talking about some of my work in progress. Now some of these I worked on earlier than the one that I just finished. So just because, I don't know, there's something about the fabric, something about the fabric I guess, that made me feel like I don't want to work on it. So I'm just coming back to cross stitching and learning about all the different fabrics. Previously I thought there was only one kind of fabrics, and now I learned that there is a lot of different types of fabrics. So one of the projects that I worked on is Lori Holt from the Kaleidoscope book, and I made a, this is the book. So I made a quilt, a bed runner from this book, and they have a cross stitch project in there as well, which is absolutely beautiful. I love the lacy look of that, and I decided to start one. So I decided to use my own colors, though there are suggested DMCs and also some of the different choices of DMC that Lori Holt provided in this pattern. You can use like the pink colors or the blue one, which is pretty, but I decided to use some of the colors that I used in my quilt so that it matches my quilt. So I'll pop in a picture of the bed runner that I made here, and this is how I got so far. So I'm stitching on fabric flare pale gray gingham. You can see some of the gingham if I can see it here. That's the gingham. It's very light. I love this fabric. I love the texture of this fabric. This was fun to stitch on. It's not too stiff and not too soft. So this is 14 count. 14 count fabric flare pale gray gingham. So this is how far I've gotten. I did some mistake. You know when you did the, when you do some mistakes and you get annoyed and you kind of like put it away. Now they're not cross-stitch mistake, they just like crossed the other, like they're crossed differently from the others. A few of them, not all of them. So I got really annoyed, like some of the yellow ones here, I cross-stitched it, but it was all this direction, and then there are a few that's this direction on top. So it was annoying, and I don't want to rip it out, so I'm just going to leave it there. So this is like, I'm not going to rip it out. So I'm just going to continue on with the other 4 quarters, and then I'm going to be done with this. So I did quite bright colors as compared to the colors in here, but I love it. Like it's contrasting colors. These ones are like more kind of, the blues are all blues and pinks are all pinks, like mono colors, I would say. So that is the work in progress that I have. I am going to start continuing on this again, and hopefully to get that finished soon, because that started same time last year in July, and I don't know why it took so long, but it was fun. I just put those in here, so I am not organized yet with my projects. I just kind of put in whatever bags I have. So this is the DMC that I used. I'll put a link down below to all the colors that I've used as well. Okay. So next that I've been working on is the one that is inspired by quilting as well. So you can see kind of a theme here. Because I'm a quilter and I'm coming back to cross stitching, I am kind of like drawn to kind of quilty stuff. So I actually started one of this inside this book, Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee. I made this one of the quilts in here, and I decided that I wanted to make a cross stitching that matches. So it's the same thing with the Kaleidoscope book. So I made one of the quilt in here. I'll pop in the picture as well here that I made. And I made one of this quilts right here that has this pattern. Where is it? This block here. So that one with a trumpet. I'll pop in a picture right here. So I decided to just do this part of the cross stitch. So I don't want to do the whole sampler because I don't like the look of it. I don't know. I feel like I don't want to do the sampler. I didn't do the sampler quilt either. So I am not loving that as much. So I decided to just do this small piece. Now this is not going so good. I put it in this small project bag that I have made really back in the days. So I actually stitched this on a 25 count fabric. It was my first time trying on a 25 count, and this is DMC white. So that's how far I've gotten. Now I don't really like this because it's very stiff. I don't know, is the count or is it the type of fabric, but I've recently tried a different type of fabric, same count, but it's softer. So this one is a bit stiff and I don't really like working with stiff fabrics. So that's how far I've gotten. I'm going to just finish the border and fill it in. I use my own conversion of DMC colors. I tried the bobbins, so I don't really like bobbins. I think I really like the floss better. I'm going to try and get some floss biddies to kind of put the flosses. But this is how I kept this project inside this small bag, which I made from a free motion quilting practice, and that is the work in progress. So I do love the smaller count because I just love that it's very fine. I'm doing 2 strands over 2 for this one, and it turns out nice coverage. I love it. So when I just start seeing this again, I've been putting it away for very long, and I've just been working on a lot of the Home Sweet Home this month. But when I see it again to record this Flosstube, I am excited to kind of work on it again. So that's why I wanted to kind of start this Flosstube. It's just to get me motivated with some of the projects I already have. So next one that I have to share with you is another quilting inspired cross stitch project. So this one is in a new bag. So after watching all the Flosstubes around the web, around YouTube, I've been inspired to actually create my new bag. So I want to create all the bags for all my projects. So this is one that is already in a bag, and I carry it like everywhere with me to kind of work on it. Now I have a little bit of stories with this. This is my current work in progress as well with the Home Sweet Home. I've been taking this out a lot this month. So this one is by Hands On Design. It's one of the series on Chalk Talk, and this one is Let's Talk Quilting. So I'll put a link down below to the pattern as well if you want to stitch similar ones. At first I wanted to start with this, which is a smaller one, and then I said no, I'm going to start with a big one. And I'm going to start with a linen that is suggested in here. So they use a 32 count linen, and I've never stitched on a 32 count linen. It's small and it's black. It's hard, it's challenging. So those things are the things that I've learned using this project. But I do love the pattern. There's a lot of text, which is so much fun, and it's quilting kind of like theme. So I do love that. So this is how far I've gotten. So that is how far I've gotten. And I should put this one behind it. Oh my god. So that is how far I've gotten with that. I just finished this. It took a while for me to do this. Now I'm working with white, and on a black it's really hard to count. But the white is also kind of a pain because you can see all the flaws of the crosses. But I'm getting better. I'm getting better, and that's most important. I'm learning, and I frogged a lot of time. This quilt I frogged I don't know, probably 5 to 6 times. I made the whole quilt, And then I realized my T was here because I forgot to take the spaces for the shadows. So there's a shadow, so inside here, so there's a blue shadow, and I forgot to count that. So I had to frog it all out, put it back together. So this is a big project bag. I don't know, I kind of love the size. I'm using Lori Holt fabric. I love the size, but it's kind of too big. Probably I would just try a smaller one. I'll share with you some of more project bags that I have later. I love this print. It's beautiful. And I'm also using a big zippable. Yeah. So that is my current work in progress. I do have more work in progress coming soon because I'm gonna start some new projects, which I'm excited to, because I've just like learned all these different patterns that's available and some of the different designers that I am going to try out because I've never tried before. I'm going to show you a couple of my hauls later in this video, and also some of my project kit that I have. So let's get to that. So first, I am going to show you a kitted project. So this is what I'm going to be starting this month. This is my first Flosstube, and this is in September, and today is September 6th. I am on a holiday break from my work. I do work full-time as a lecturer at a local university, and I decided to take a full 1 week break and just get rejuvenated. And by rejuvenating, I do a lot of stitching at home. I love staying home. My kids are on holiday as well. It's school holiday here in Malaysia, and we went somewhere last weekend and probably going again this weekend. But the weekdays my husband is working and I'm just home stitching, just enjoying the time that I have. So I feel rejuvenated. I do feel like it's a very good break for me before the semester starts in October. So this is one of the kit that I have kitted, and I'm hoping to actually work on this month. So this is also my birthday month, September. So this is a great Flosstube because it's a nice marking so that I know next year is going to be a year of Flosstube, hopefully, that I'll be consistent with this. So this one is, no, there's a glare on that, but yeah, this one is ABC by Primrose Cottage. And it calls for 25 count. Yeah, it calls for 25 count, but I'm actually just going to use what I have already in stash. And I seem to have this. I think I bought this at Fat Quarter Shop. It's Fabric Flare. Oh no, this one is the pale grey gingham. Yeah, this one is the pale grey gingham. So it's the leftover ones that I use for my kaleidoscope. So I'm going to stitch on this. So this one is Fabric Flare, pale grey gingham. I'm going to raw edge, do the raw edge stitch, and I use the called for DMCs. I think it calls for two more that I haven't gotten yet, but I am excited to start that. I think Kimberly is also stitching this in September for her Sunflower September, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm excited to start on that. So I love that there is a lot of alphabets there. That will be fun to stitch. And I made a project bag for that out of bee fabric. And this is a good size actually. So that is also nice because it's a crosshatch gingham. And there's lots of bees. And this is what I have in. So now I am being more proper. I have a good size. Oops. So now I am being like more proper. I have the right size fabric, the right size project bag to work with, and yeah, I'm hoping to be more productive with my cross stitching. So this is one, and I have another one that I've kitted as well. I'm hoping to start this month. So this is You Are the Boss. Again, a quilting inspired cross stitch. This one is by Lori Holt. So this one is also by It's a Wema pattern. I think the stitch along have already started, but I haven't started mine. because I haven't got the floss, and I don't know whether I'm going to use the called for or I'm going to use my own colors. Probably try to use my own colors. So this is You Are the Boss cross stitch pattern by It's So Emma. I'll put a link down below as well. So I made a project bag for that before I get started, and this is what it looks like. So I use the same fabric that I used for the previous project bag on the back, but this one has just a cross hatch back. So that is the bag, and I also made a place to put my needles and my leftover fabric using the leftovers. So I just put a snap and just put some batting inside there so I can put some leftover flosses, and I can put my needles there. This is a super cute needle minder by Lori Holt as well. So I'm going to do this on 25 count even weave parchment. This is also by Lori Holt. It's called Vintage Cloth by Lori Holt. It's slightly it's not white, so it is different from the called for. The called for is white, I guess, cloud count 25 count Lugana, but I am not using that white. I'm using parchment. I'm just using whatever I already have. I mean, I stashed this earlier. I kind of just bought it from Fat Quarter Shop when I go shopping there, so I'm just using whatever I have. And I'm waiting for some DMC. So I usually buy DMC flosses from my local store, because we do have DMCs a lot over here, so that is a great option for me, because then I can get it fast. If I order from Fat Quarter Shop, because I live in Malaysia, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks before it reach here. So that is kind of a patient game, kind of to be patient before you start buying some more. You know, when you buy some stuff and it didn't reach your doorstep just yet, you tend to forget that you buy those, like you have bought it, like you've made the purchase, because it's not here yet, and you start purchasing some more. So that is the issue of a crafter. Anyway, so I am going into a little bit of quilting things that I have to share with you, and then we are going to go into some hauls that I have, a bit of sharing of the things that I've recently gotten in my mail, and also a giveaway at the end of this video. So if you're still here, thank you for still being here. I hope you've enjoyed a little bit of chat on the projects. I mean, like, this is my first time doing this, so I might be all over the place, but thank you for staying on. So I have one slow project that I've been working on, and haven't touched them for a very long time, so I thought this floss tube would be a great kind of motivation for me to get started with this as well. So I've been working on the quilt Handful of Scraps, and I think I started this in 2017. Yeah. And I'm not done yet. So I am currently back at it. So I just found the project bag that contains all of the pieces, and I just made the new hexagon, like the diamond in the middle. So this is the new finished piece. I'm going to show you a couple of that I've done before. So I am working with an old line from Bonnie and Camille. If you are familiar with Bonnie and Camille, this is not her usual colors. She used to make some like it's totally different from her current lines, but it's still gorgeous. So this is, I bought this from like a D-stash, but the problem is now I don't have enough. I have to substitute some of the new kind of lines that matches it, and that kind of bothers me. Sometimes I just want to work with, you know, the fabric from the same fabric line. So this is called, I wonder if you can see that, Simple Abundance by Bonnie and of Cotton Way and Camille of them, Bonnie and Camille. So this is the fabric, and I started with the layer cake. So I got a lot done with the layer cake, and then the fabric finishes. So now I have these small pieces to cut from, and it's very challenging because you don't have much of the same fabric, and that's why for this one I mixed in 2 different fabrics just to get that, because I wouldn't be able to get 16 hexagon. And this one is fun because I created this template, hexagon templates, to print off. You can get it on my blog, I put a link down below, and there are some fun quotes on it. So it's been fun working on this and reading the quotes. So that is my recent finish. I mean, it took me about 2 to 3 hours to just finish doing that. I didn't have the hexagon basted yet, so the 2 to 3 hours was cutting the pieces of hexagons, basting, and also putting it together into this. I wanted this to get done. So this is my new addition to the project. So I'm going to show you a couple of the old one that I have already. So I have 2 more hex diamond shape, so now I am left with another 3 to do, and I have 27 grandmother flowers done. The pattern calls for 32, that means I need another 4 more. I'm going to show you a couple of them because they're beautiful. I love working this fabric. I don't know, this is not my usual colors. You can see some of the quilts that I have and some of the fabrics. I am a bright color person, but I love all kind of fabrics, and this is beautiful as well. I think it's like 1800 inspired reproduction fabrics. So I absolutely love it. Like the colors, like the reds are like really red, and the blues, greens is probably not my best color, like browns and greens, but they're still beautiful. So this is some of them. I'm just going to show you some of them because this is a lot. Like I love those stripes. So those are the stripy fabric, and if you fussy cut them, you can make them into like a different pattern in that hexagon. So this is what I've been working on, and I'm hoping to actually finish this early next year. I have a lot of background hexagons to do. I'm going to show you what it looks like again. So in between all of these hexagons, there are a lot of background fabrics that I have to piece. So all of this is hand pieced, and then you add an applique border. So I'm going to do the applique border because I want to try that. I've never tried applique that much before. But I will need to find a good like floral fabric for that, because I don't have access to this anymore, and I'm gonna need to find something that matches. So that is my English paper piecing project that I have to share with you, and a progress, which is super fun because I have been working on this for a long time, and it's just really nice to get back to it. I absolutely love it, and I just don't know why I haven't picked it up. I think it's because I have a 2-year-old right now, and when I got pregnant with her, I didn't feel like stitching that, and then she was a baby. I don't want to have all this stuff around me, and even now I don't really stitch in front of her because she's going to play with all the bits and it's going to be everywhere. So that is one of the reasons why I've been slow with English paper piecing, but I do enjoy it. So if you want a free templates and some of the tutorials I have on the blog, I'll put a link down below. You'll love this getting started on EPP. I also have another finish that I just recently finished, and this is the Halloween inspired spiderweb block. Now this one is actually a matching project to my recent finish, which is the Boo Crew, a sew along by Fat Quarter Shop. So I'll pop in another photo of the quilt right here, and I made this using the scraps left over from that quilt. And I am using the paper pad from It's So Emma. I'll put a link down below. So this is a paper piecing technique, and what I did was just replace this white part with some strips. So that's why you get this kind of look. So this is the kite, and then I just replaced that white part with some strips. And I have a fun video on Instagram showing you how I did this. And I love the binding, the stripy binding. Stripy binding never goes wrong, so I love this one. So the back is also using some of the leftovers, and I didn't have enough, so I have to add in a seam here to actually make it enough. So I love that. Okay, so I have another project that I've been working on. I can't show you just yet, but I can show you the fabrics I've been working on. So this is Sweetwater Snow-Kissed, and I've been working with this in the past month for a sew along that's coming in Fat Quarter Shop. It's called the Christmas Time. It's a fun little quilt. If you love Boo Crew, you'll love this one. So if you want to follow along, I put a link down below. You can check that out. Get ready. I use this fabric, which is cute. Look at that. There's a lot of hats, and then there are some other cute gingham. So I've used that. This is my leftover, which I'm going to turn into the backing or some sort. So that has been a fun project. So check that out. So this is another fabric from that line. Isn't that cute? That is super cute. Like this little houses, and the blue is just amazing. I'll put a link to the fabric down below as well. Okay, so now we are into hauls. So I have a couple of hauls, cross-stitch hauls and some quilting hauls to share with you, and some new stuff from Fat Quarter Shop that you may want to check out. So let's get to some of the cross-stitching haul. Now the part of coming back to cross-stitching is actually shopping. So I do love shopping for new crafty things, and this is no exceptions. And after watching all the Flosstube, you get inspired. You get to know some of the designers new to me, kind of like I haven't seen them before, and I would love to try them. So I'm gonna share you a couple of things that I bought, and these are probably future projects that you may see on the Flosstube. So if you love to see the progress on those, make sure you click subscribe so that I have more Flosstube coming, and I'll share with you some of the starts or finishes or whatever that I'll be working on. So this is the pattern that I just bought. This one is by Bent Creek. I love the text, so I'm going to work with this. I think this one will be a quick one. So I bought the linen for that as well. So I bought the fiber on a whim, and this one is 32 count. So I love working on the 32 count before. This time I'm hoping that's a bit easier. It's linen, but it's a bit easier probably because it's lighter color as compared to the black. But I also bought another black pattern. This one is by Hands On Design. I absolutely love the cute little pin cushion. This one is also bee themed. I love bees. So I haven't bought any kits for this. It's just a pattern. I can show you that. And we got the wool for the top part as well. Yeah. And a few more patterns. I also got my first book of Blackbird design. I've been hearing a lot about Blackbird designs, and I've been trying to avoid it. I don't know, I just feel like I am not into kind of like this kind of stitches, but whenever I see a finish on any Flosstube, I just love the finish. So I am thinking of getting started. You know, who knows, I might like it. So I probably want to start this one, which is super cute. Like, it's small and it's doable. So this is my first Blackbird design book, and I think I'm going to enjoy it. And I also bought just as to stash and to try. This is lamb's wool 32 count, and it's even weave. It's just beautiful. Like, it's so much different than the linen. This is my first time like looking at even weave and linen, and even weave is just, you know, even, and linen you don't have the evenness, but it's beautiful as well, like natural look. So I'm gonna try those two and see which one I like best. So I'm trying to actually try different things and see where's my sweet spot. So you'll be seeing me working on different linens, working with different types of flosses in the future, hopefully. And that is the point. I am just venturing into this cross stitching, and I'm hoping to kind of like try all the stuff so that I find my sweet spot. And that's the thing about cross stitching. Like, I love just watching all different things that people do, and there's so much choices these days that people can just start anywhere they feel like. I also have a couple of new patterns from Fat Quarter Shop. So they sent me some patterns. So this one is a sew along in October. So if you're a quilter, you can actually sew along with this, or if you're cross stitching, you can also sew along, stitch along with this pattern. So this is to support breast awareness, oh my god, breast cancer awareness. Okay. Breast cancer awareness in October. So this is to support. So this is our best friend, support. And if you are a quilter, you can make this quilt, and if you're a cross stitcher, you can make this cross stitching pattern. And this one will be a giveaway, both of this, at the end of this video. It also comes with cute me reminder, so this one would be a giveaway as well. So you can stick to the end to get into this giveaway. So that would be in October. So if you want to get the flosses, you can win this and then get ready for October to stitch along with Fat Quarter Shop. And then there's also this pattern that is sent from Fat Quarter Shop. This is going to be in the future giveaway. So this one is kind of a summer because it's sister summer. Okay. And then they also sent me a couple more. So this one is by Lori Holt. I'm going to stitch this up. So this one is, I'm going to use this one. I love the small squares, and I've seen Kimberly does it like in horizontal or vertical, and I've seen Java Girl Stitches done it horizontal. It's just beautiful. I think it will be a cute piece to stitch. And yeah, another pattern and a kit I forgot to share. So this one haven't got a project bag yet, so this one is the one I'm going to try and do. So this is another designer that I've just coming to love just by seeing the patterns and the finishes from other Flosstubers. So this is by Brenda Gervais, but coffee first. So I am a fan of coffee, and I thought this would be a great one to add in to make for my coffee station. So this is the pattern. She's super cute, and I bought the called for threads and the linen. I love the colors. It's very subtle, kind of like vintagey. So that's what I'm going to be working on soon as well. I haven't got a project bag for that yet. I probably want to make a project bag for that first. But it's a small pattern, so I hope I'm not going to destroy it. Alright, so that's going to be what I'll be working on. Quilting hauls or quilting stuff. I also got the book Scrappiness is Happiness, and this one is this month sew along. So if you want to follow along with Fat Quarter Shop, they are sewing along a sampler from this book. This book is thick and full of goodness. It's just full of goodness. So it's spiral bound as well. I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite quilts in here, and probably the one that I'm going to start with. So this is my favorite quilt. I'm going to make sure that I don't ruin this. Right, so this is my favorite quilt in there. It's just so beautiful. So I'm going to try and make this. I'm not sewing along this September, but I am going to start. So I'm going to start on this. The sew along is actually for a whole sampler, and you will need the book to sew along together. So if you want to sew along with Fat Quarter Shop and, you know, make a dent in your scraps, I highly recommend this book. It's worth it. It's definitely one of the best books that I have for quilting, because it just has so much in there. So check it out. Scrappiness is Happiness down below, and it's by Lori Holt. And you know, all things Lori Holt is just amazing. And she has also a Flosstube channel. YouTube channel. She has all the fun tutorials, and she also does Flosstube every now and then. it's very inspiring. You can check that out as well. Another thing that I got, this is I think my last haul. So this is a quilt kit that was on sale at 5/4 shop. Look at how much is that, and it's on sale like 50% off, and I got it. And I'm not going to do the kit, although the kit is very pretty. It's that pattern right there. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's the glare. It's a cute pattern, but I am not going to do the pattern. I just love for the fact that it's 50% off, and there's a lot of background fabric and also some of the colors. So if you see a quilt kit that's on sale, you can buy it for a different type of project. So this one comes with almost a 5 yard of background fabric, which can be done for a lot of different quilt patterns. This is Kimberly Kite. So this is Kimberly Kite. This is Ruby Star. If I'm not mistaken, I'm just going to try. Ruby Star featuring Terry Town. So I love the colors, and I love how much you get for the price that I paid for it. So I'll put a link to some of the deals that you can get from 5/4 shop, especially for kids. They had a sale on these kits, I think a few weeks back, or probably a month back, and I grabbed this one. So as I mentioned earlier, if I purchase something, it will take me about 2 to 3 weeks before it reaches to me. So it does take quite a bit of time, but I am not making it anytime soon anyway. So, but you know, when you purchase something, you just want it right in front of your doorstep right away. Otherwise, you'll be purchasing more. Alright, so that is it for the hauls. If you want to win the patterns, so I'm gonna put 2 of this. I think I can send both of them. Like this one will come with a needle minder. This one. So the cross stitching one will come with a needle minder, and the quilt pattern will just be the quilt pattern. I'll probably throw in some fabrics in there as well. So if you want to win the quilt pattern, just mention quilt pattern in your comment down below, and I'll search for that quilt pattern, 2 words, and then cross stitch pattern, 3 words, and I will pick a winner before my next floss tube. So if you want to stitch along, this will be in October. If you want to check this out, I'll put a link down below. If you want to win it, make sure you put in cross stitch pattern or quilt pattern, whichever you want to win, and I'll send that off to the winner. So that is it for my first floss tube. I hope you've enjoyed that. I have been enjoying talking to you, like chatting all about the things that I love, and I just hope that I can be more consistent with YouTube, and this is one way to get it. Like, it's a simple kind of chatty videos, sharing the things I love and sharing the things that I've just been working on. If you want to check out my blog, I have some finishes recently and some quilt tutorials. I'll put a link down below as well. So till then, have a good cross stitching day or quilting day. Bye bye.